Reminiscing. Well, guys, the draft is out. You didn't come here for Battlefield reminiscing. You came here for
No,
Heroes of the Storm, dang it. And
that's correct.
by golly, we're going to deliver it to you.
We're
The
gonna make sure you get
youngest
it.
Woodies versus TAW Overrated. Hopefully they're not overrated, but we'll find out.
Well, they actually have a TAW underrated as well. I'm not kidding. That's not a joke. There's actually a TAW underrated.
That's fantastic.
These are the overrated guys.
Okay.
So I guess we'll see.
Okay. We'll see if
Youngest-
they're actually overrated or not.
Youngest
like that.
Woodies. I don't know. What do you think? You ban.
This
keep
is
Yelthos
Towers.
on the table.
This is Towers of Doom, guys.
Ooh.
This is Towers of
my
Doom. This is
baby.
probably one of me and Josh's favorite maps to cast because the team fights on this map are just absolutely fantastic. So Falstad and Kael'thas gone just instantly. So we do have Tracer on the table for this for probably one of the first times in a long time.
I like that Woudys left Kael'thas on the table that they could pick it if it
Just in
wasn't
case.
banned. Yeah.
Because
But
Falstad's a legitimate ban too, right?
Yeah, and I also think Falstad on this map with the global is a little bit better than on some of the other maps because he can split, grab a shrine, and then fly in.
Yep.
So I like the ban on that for sure. And honestly, Gus is infuriating. So if you don't like playing against Gus, I mean, just ban it out.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, and not only that, just because the size of this map, Falstad can basically be anywhere he wants at any time, which is not quite the case on some other maps. So TAW is going to go ahead and pick up Thrall. They're going to get one of those really good solid laners. There's a lot of people on the Tracer. Again, Tracer's still on the table.
Yep.
Li Ming's grab, and I'm just trying to think through like these really high values. Zagara is a very high value on Towers of Doom.
I like the Haka a lot on this map.
Haka,
also.
yes, very good as well.
I think that there's the potential to see that. I think maybe it wasn't Woodies. I don't know. I thought maybe we saw Woodies play it at one point, but I could be.
They may have. We've casted Woodies a few times.
Yeah.
So
and we got the Orc boys. We got SM Orc.
Yep, we got the Orc
Overrated.
boys. So Zul is going to come out again. Fairly standard pick. Zul's been showing up quite a bit recently. Very good laner, very good lockdown, and he's got that level 20 heal reduction talent that he can take, which can actually be really, really strong against Rhaegar because of that chain heal, or even the Ancestral really dulling its effects.
Absolutely, and Thrall's seen a lot of competitive success recently. In Korea, in EU, even in the Australia New Zealand regional that happened on the weekend. That's the thing. Like Woodies could, if they get ahead, they could definitely put their opponents in a position where they're in a sort of stranglehold, and they have to keep rotating. They have to keep recapturing their forts.
Yeah.
And Woodies they're gonna lock down those forts, and they're gonna destroy them very quickly.
Yes. ETC goes away by TAW. They don't want to play against him. ETC is a board, so to speak, because pushing towers in this case gets you more shots, and plus it constantly churns objectives for your opponents to have to take back or risk losing all three and getting the constant shot on the core.
That's the thing. Like Woodies could, if they get ahead, they could definitely put their opponents in a position where they're in a sort of stranglehold, and they have to keep rotating. They have to keep recapturing their forts.
Yeah.
And Woodies they're gonna lock down those forts, and they're gonna destroy them very quickly.
Yes. ETC goes away by TAW. They don't want to play against him. ETC is a very common second ban target, just because you don't want to pick him early because he can be countered too well, but then that leaves him open to be banned in the second phase. And then we have a Vala ban by Youngest Woodies.
That's pretty strange. I'm not sure if maybe they've seen something from this team in the past.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna get the Johanna from TAW, so that's actually pretty good for Woodies because they're gonna be able to pick up Muradin, and that likely will be their pick.
Mm-hmm.
And so good job not banning Muradin, because there's always that temptation, even though you're kind of banning yourself out, you can bring everybody down to those tier 2 warriors. And sometimes that's a favorable option, but I like that Woodies did not do that. The Vala ban, I'm not sure, but at least they haven't banned themselves out of the warrior here.
Well, that cuts off another fairly reliable DPS If you're TAW here, Zagara definitely a good option. Raynor, not a bad option either. And if you wanted to go a mage, honestly, Jaina can be quite good on this map because of the zone control she has with Blizzard, or, her Blizzard and such. But it looks like they're going to go Tyrande. So we'll see what they end up pairing this with in the end. But as you thought, Josh, Woudys goes ahead and snatches up Murden real quick. Not a huge surprise. Usually it's Murden and Johanna these days are our tanks, with the occasional ETC when he's not banned.
I think we're going to probably see Uther here for Woudys. I think it makes the most sense against his composition. You don't necessarily need to play Uther. You definitely could. You could play Karazim if that's more your speed.
And honestly, Medic wouldn't be horrible here either.
Yeah, Medic wouldn't be bad, I guess. I would like. The only danger is if Feral Spirit or Lunar Flare hits her.
Yes.
Because then the other one is likely about to hit her. And we also don't know last
they've got
pick.
a decent front line.
That's
but
true.
It is going to be Uther, so they will have the power of that Divine Shield or Divine Storm. I mean, I know we don't see Divine Storm hardly ever. But
I mean, if we saw another melee here for TAW, I would actually definitely consider it. Because there isn't really, like, there's not an ETC and there's not like a melee assassin on the side of Youngest Woudys where you typically be like, okay, we definitely want Divine Shield. I think Divine Shield is still the better option, but if TAW picked like Illidan or something right now, if they went crazy and they're like, we're doing Illidan, I actually would be okay with Divine Storm because I think that offers quite a lot against this comp.
Yeah, it would. I'm trying to think what would go well. Okay, so we're going to get a Greymane. I like that pick, because it allows them to be very aggressive, but it still gives them extra poke, and they were a little lacking in poke, especially they got some Chain Lightning from Thrall. You can kind of poke with that. Tyrande, you can kind of poke with your Owl a little bit, but not a whole lot. Whereas on the other side, Li Ming is like a one-woman poke show. That sounds horrible, guys.
It sounds really,
but it's not.
The moment it came out of your mouth, I was
just
like,
the truth. It's just the truth. Stop laughing, Josh.
The one thing I want to mention about Greymane is I really like him if you can get him in a comp with Tyrande, because the Hunter's Mark plus the like Dark Flight into like Morgan form attacks, like, it's so much damage.
Oh yeah, incredible burst, and then you've got Thrall with the Sundering that can line that up, or even a Johanna Condemn can really line that up. Condemn into Lunar Flare, into Hunter's Mark, and then Thrall and Greymane can really pounce a target. And in some ways, the Divine Shield will probably be really good for Youngest Woudys, because they'll be able to throw that on whatever that burst target ends up being. Because other than Murden, they're fairly squishy themselves.
Can we get a heroic prediction for TAW? You think it's going to be Starfall Ancestral? I want it to be the other way, but I don't.
Okay. Let's just say it like this. It's a double support.
Yeah.
If Tyrande goes Shadowstalk, Rhaegar could definitely go Bloodlust.
I just don't know. Like,
it's the comp is there for it. Whether they do it or not is another question. But I feel like the comp is strong enough that they don't necessarily need the Ancestral.
Maybe if we see battle momentum on Tyrande, maybe that's an indication that we may see it. We may see Bloodlust at 10.
I would love to see Bloodlust. Like I said, I think this comp, because every single person except maybe Johanna can benefit from it quite a bit. And if you just add that onto the Hunter's Mark damage, that is scary.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think it's viable. I don't know if that's what they're gonna do.
Yes, it's definitely viable. If they chose to go that, I would be super happy.
Now, with the addition of the Greymane, even though he does a lot of damage in melee, I think you really need that Divine Shield. Like, there's just so much.
No, I think the option to Divine Storm kind of went out the window. with the Greymane just because of the potential for that ridiculous burst.
It's just crazy that the meta is in a place now where you have those picks that are still pretty strong picks, even if they're not like Kael'thas level picks. Like Greymane, where they're sort of like comfortably a tier 2 hero,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't get contested every game. But when you see them come out in the right composition, like this one, it
Yes.
seems like it'd be extremely terrifying
Yeah.
for the enemy team. So I really like that about where the game is going, and I know a lot of people want more supports. I'm a support main, so I also want more supports.
Yes.
But I can't help but feel that adding more damage options and different varied damage options can make the game a lot more interesting, and that's sort of what they've been doing for the past little while.
Yeah. I agree. And honestly, just from a speculative, I would give a slight edge to TAW's comp in potential of
Yeah.
what they could do with it.
I
Will it
think
will it come to fruition? I don't know, but I feel like from a potential standpoint, TAW's comp has just a little bit more.
I think the thing that about Woudys that scares me is that they have two push focus heroes. And so, like, early game, they might give up a bit of team fight. So I
Yeah,
guess we'll have to see.
and that's the thing. If they can get ahead, they'll be in a good spot. But they could, if they fall behind, that could be bad. So over on the side of the youngest Woodies, we had Philly 2X on Sylvanas, young Woody, the youngest of the Woodies, on Zool, Cartwright on Muradin, Harry Augie on Uther, and not like this on Li Ming.
On the side of TAW Overrated, we have Nucleus on Johanna. Best Leona NA playing Thrall, because
Dang.
Leona's not in this game.
Nope.
Cyrus playing Greymane. G-Unit playing Rhaegar, and Fireblade on Tyrande.
All right. So everybody just kind of postulating around the middle. Li Ming actually sniffing out the best Leona NA.
Yeah, don't face check that bush if you're Li Ming. And Nucleus wants a little bit of action here. Cartwright at half health, just kind of skirmishing back and forth. Lunar Flare lands, Hunter's Mark goes out, no follow-up. Now Nucleus forced to turn around, and just some blood shed, but nobody goes down,
No
and nothing
fatalities.
really accomplished. Yeah.
No. So we've got a 4-man rotation going bottom.
Yeah. And
Johanna, Thrall. We may see Thrall end up down here. And interestingly, Rhaegar's going top against the Sylvanas.
yeah, and that's sort of the downside. Rhaegar's got fine wave clear, but against the Sylvanas, like, that's just sort of a losing battle long term. I do like that the Sylvanas is the one in the lane, because even though Zool can push a lane very effectively, he also is great coming off lane to create ganks. And that's something that they're going to be looking to do with this rotation.
Yeah. And honestly, but to be completely honest, I'd like to see almost Thrall against that Sylvanas, as it's really kind of sucks to have your healer there, but Thrall gets Bone Prison and he is just going to get absolutely bursted down, but somehow with his Wind Fury speed, he is able to get out and survive.
It's all that Leona experience, right? I mean, he's just getting out of there. I don't even know what Leona does. I'm going to be honest. So I can't even tell you if that played a factor in that. But.
She was a tank, and it's going to be really weird because I'm going to get Johanna mixed up with her now. Now that I've got that in my mind. Harry Augie channeling the bottom, and actually TAW pushing the top out on their side, and it looks like they're going to grab 2 of them.
Yeah, so Philly 2X on Sylvanas, actually not a great option to try and solo cap. Harry Augie's going to throw the Hammer of Justice down, but Fireblade should be okay. Some great poke actually coming out from Greymane, but ooh, a great Dwarf Toss from Cartwright. He does whiff the Stormbolt, and they do have Nucleus behind them. But looks like everybody should be able to just trade out here. Although Cartwright, wow, so much damage coming in from that Greymane TBK.
Josh, I feel like the Stormbolt whiff sealed that.
Yeah, maybe they would have gotten that kill. That's true.
I think that would have been a kill if they had been able to, if he had been able to land that. Unfortunately, he didn't, and then it completely turned around on him.
Yeah, that was pretty hockey. He definitely has the opportunity to get a kill if he's careful. So I really like this. It allows them to keep Thrall moving around the map, and that's what he's doing at the bottom as young Woody getting engaged on here. Nucleus attempting to body block, but no, that was not an airtight body block. And now he's being attacked by towers, by Li Ming. Looks like Cartwright is going to go for the Stormbolt.
He goes to is going to be significantly more just because the towers are going to have to waste that much more ammo to get those minions down.
I actually really like this adaptation. Cyrus on Greymane went to the top lane to go against Sylvanas, almost killed her. And that's the thing, that's not a great lane for Greymane, but if the Sylvanas gets cocky, he definitely has the opportunity to get a kill if he's careful. So I really like this. It allows him to keep Thrall moving around the map, and that's what he's doing at the bottom as young Woody getting engaged on here. Nucleus attempting to body block, but no, that was not an airtight body block. Ooh. And now he's being attacked by towers, by Li Ming. Looks like Cartwright is going to go for the Stormbolt. It does land, and Johanna is the first member of TAW to fall.
Yeah, and that was actually well done by them. Young Woody knew that he had teammates coming, so he immediately turns around on Johanna as soon as she starts taking tower hits, and the rest of the team just collapsed. And now that kind of puts them at a little bit of a disadvantage this phase. Thrall getting stunned out, Harry Augie trying his best to channel this, but Thrall doing really good poke with that Chain Lightning, and now Cartwright is in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, Cartwright does manage to get out. Nucleus hits 4 with the Condemn. A lot of disruption, a lot of stun. Cartwright gets a protective shield from Harry Augie. Young Woody just trying to keep Nucleus away from this. That's Leona NA trying to prove that he's the best. Wow, the passive barely does not save MTBK.
Oh.
Wow.
And there was the Li Ming resets right there. You can, not like this, able to get so many attacks off, only limited by his mana. And that is the scary thing about fighting against a Li Ming when you're all at low health. Because one person dying means another thing in magic missiles, another orb, and it's just constant. And it just gets scarier once you hit 10. Because then the disintegrate beams are just non-stop.
And this is a situation that we had talked about potentially happening, is that if youngest Woodies could get a lead, they can sort of force that chokehold heading into the late game, where they are basically TAW is forced to respond. We haven't seen them actually take down a fort yet, but they will get to 10 first. So they need, or
yeah,
they're
by a decent margin, because they're almost a level and a half ahead right now.
Yeah, and young Woody
grab the camp on top. That if they can push that with Zool, that will most likely take both those towers and the gate. We have some action in the bottom. TAW trying to push in, but they're still pretty secure under these towers. Both towers have a lot of ammo left, so they're not too scared.
Oh, and Cyrus actually engaging Philly 2x on the top. He's going to take about half her life away before the Haunting Wave gets her out of there. But this is the thing. That fight in the bottom lane was fine for youngest Woodies because they just wanted to push out the lane.
Yeah.
Top, and they got the towers down. They got the XP from that.
It's almost like the distraction, right? They're just distracting TAW enough that Zool can just do whatever he wants up top. And now they're going to even steal their creep camp.
Nice. And that's the thing. They have 2 legitimate pushing threats on the side of young Woodies. So it's not like TAW where you basically, to push, you probably want Thrall in the lane. Of all these, I guess Greymane's okay as well. But you probably want Thrall. And now we have the 2 top altars spawning. Let's see what happens. Both teams at 32, but can TAW really contest this since they don't have level 10 TBK?
If they do, they're setting themselves up to get even further behind. If they can get a pick, it's not bad. But right now, the youngest Woodies can contest at their altar and not be that scared about it, because the Poison Nova comes out. Rhaegar is blown up instantly. Best Leona NA taking so much damage. Tyrande forced as well to go back as she doesn't have any health left. The stun goes out and she may fall. 166 health left, and the Disintegrate comes out. And again, the power of the Li Ming resets coming into play yet again.
So TAW actually did get their altar. I do want to point that out. They did get it. So they both got 1 altar. TAW now hitting 10. They're going to have moments before 13 for the side of youngest Woodies, and at that point they're going to be a whole talent tier down, and they're already down a fort TBK.
Yeah, this is the problem, Josh. We're still at 28, right? And so they lost 3 people and a fort to that.
Ooh, and the falling sword comes down, trying to disrupt the boss cap. Young Woody falls, Harryagi falls, and actually TAW's gonna steal this boss. This is a disaster for Young Woodies because TAW did exactly what they needed to do. They need to make something happen before 13 for Woodies, and they did exactly that, getting some kills, catching up a little bit, and getting the boss. And Philly 2X is also gonna fall, so it's a 4-for-0 and a boss steal.
So this is big, Josh, because youngest Woodies, I would almost say they got a little too cocky there. The death timers are not that long. There was an owl straight in to see what they were doing, and all of them were up. It was a little brazen from the side of Young Woodies to take that so close with so little death timers and after the vision had spotted them.
Yeah, now Woody's gonna try and just block for Zool at the bottom. Cartwright just trying to stall out mid. He doesn't need to take this. He doesn't need to secure a kill yet. He just needs to buy time for Zool to get back. Nucleus taking some poke damage. Actually, TAW, they need to be careful here. They really should not be fighting this. Falling Sword comes in, hits Harryagi and Cartwright. Nucleus just trying to zone the backline. Young Woody Poison Nova hitting so much. And Divine Shield on Cartwright, going to help secure kills on Thrall and Greymane. G-Unit trying to just get out of here with his life, but the Storm Ball from Cartwright, that one's good, TBK. That one's going to seal the kill.
Rhaegar falls. Johanna, the Unstoppable, still enough to avoid the Bone Prison. Fireblade going to make it out, but now Young Woodies grabbing Tyrande, all five now pushing the bottom, and the problem is that TAW never got their middle fort back. So now they're down 2 forts and a talent tier and 2 levels. This is not good, Josh.
It's pretty low, and they do clear it now, so you can expect them to rotate towards the bottom now, but this is what we were talking about. Now Woodies can say, all right, you know, we're going to move around the map. We're just going to kill your forts. Yeah, we're just going to kill your forts.
They have Sylvanas. With Sylvanas, they don't need any minion wave to get your fort. They just need Sylvanas standing there, and bam, fort is completely gone.
And let's talk about the other danger of this situation. Obviously, occupying the enemy is great, but you could even get core damage if you get a Merc camp, and you could sneak it in if it goes all the way to the enemy's core. That's free core damage.
Yeah,
and
up to 3 shots per mercenary camp.
Yeah, and that's a situation that TAW's now going to have to deal with constantly. When they see a mercenary camp cap, they're going to have to respond to it. They don't have a great amount of wave clear, but you know, with Thrall Greymane, they should be able to do it.
And they're trying it right here. Here's the 3 shots. They're trying to lead it in. TAW is coming around the backside. Unfortunately, it's not going to be student enough to stop those core shots, and that's 3 shots onto the core. Nucleus found the bush. The Sundering goes out. Poison Nova is out. Starfall is out, and so much damage being put down. The Li Ming, though.
Wow, the resets are so real. Li Ming just melting Nucleus. Philly 2X gonna just take a breather and get out of here. Cartwright trying to secure the kill on Fireblade. I don't think he has Stormbolt yet. Yeah, Fireblade will get away. I actually don't mind that situation from TAW. I actually like the fact that they tried to force a fight before 16. They didn't really get the engage they wanted. Sundering doing almost nothing.
The bad thing is, this is on a triple altar spawn, and this will be the game, Josh.
Wow.
Youngest Woodies has 5. They have that top fort. If they can't stop one of these channels, the game is done.
And they will not.
Well, he's trying. Harryagi, he's unable to keep it off. 2 altars down. Harryagi is going to fall. Li Ming comes in, but not like this, not having any mana. Greymane does go down, and this is a fight for survival.
Oh, 4-on-4 Nucleus. Falling Sword, the backline to kill Sylvanas is great, but they immediately lose Rhaegar, so now they only have Tyrande as the half support. Young Woody just trying to finish off Nucleus, but they're actually going to get Thrall. It's Fireblade. Oh, wow, it's out 2v2, but come on, TAW, you guys can't fight this, you're so low. Johanna Posse unstoppable. Fireblade just trying to kite, but no, there's no way. And not like this. Perhaps appropriately, it's going to be the one to end the game for the Young Woodies.
Not like this. And honestly, TAW had to do that. They absolutely had to do that because they knew there's no way they're going to get their fort back in time.
Yeah, that was the only other option was can we get this fort down before they cap it, but that did not seem likely given the circumstances. So
No. And see, and that's again, that's where this double special.
what that does is it limits the team's ability to move around the map effectively and respond to threats. Yes, you can take the tunnel, but the tunnel
When
can
it's
also
open.
be scouted. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the thing. The tunnel can be scouted, and you can't, like, you absolutely can't rely on using the tunnel to get around the map because sometimes you'll be in a different part of the map and you need to rotate.
That's one less shot for TAW for each altar they get, and that's one more for youngest Woudys for each altar they get, which is a huge deal.
I actually really like that they prioritize a middle fort also, because what that does is it limits the team's ability to move around the map effectively and respond to threats. Yes, you can take the tunnel, but the tunnel
When
can
it's
also
open.
be scouted. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the thing. The tunnel can be scouted, and you can't, like, you absolutely can't rely on using the tunnel to get around the map because sometimes you'll be in a different part of the map and you need to rotate. And when that happens and you can't go through your middle fort, that's a problem.
Yeah.
We actually saw that happen at the top lane, like where they tried to go around behind. And like honestly, I have to hand it to youngest Woodies. The composition worked out very well.
It did.
I know that push and soak are actually pretty valuable on this map to the point where sometimes teams will forego the early game. But youngest Woodies actually, like with this double specialist composition, they actually made the early game look pretty good too. And like besides that one slip up at the boss, they did a great job of just forcing pressure constantly. So
Yep, for sure. And Harryagi is pinging me and reminding me to call out the MVP of this game.
Right.
So
Well,
it's not like this.
It's wait, is it not like this?
Crap.
Or is it not like this? I'm just trying to clarify.
It is the character not like this playing melee. Wow, I'm done.
Playing
It's
Ming Li.
it's Li Ming. It's
Playing
freaking
Ming
Li
Li.
Ming. Oh
right.
my gosh, the resets not like this had just to clean up completely TAW in so many of those situations.
Fights of getting max value from Poison Nova, which in
Yes,
some
very much
cases
so.
basically turned the fight as it began. He did a good job of trying to lock down targets. He was in there. Sometimes he was actually in there before Murden, depending on the situation, and that actually allowed Cartwright to save his dwarf toss to try and block enemies and apply pressure as the fight turned. So I gotta say I like young Woody Zool play. Zool's actually, he was doing a great job in team fights of getting max value from Poison Nova, which in
Yes,
some
very much
cases
so.
basically turned the fight as it began. He did a good job of trying to lock down targets. He was in there. Sometimes he was actually in there before Murden, depending on the situation, and that actually allowed Cartwright to save his dwarf toss to try and block enemies and apply pressure as the fight turned. So I gotta say I like young Woody Zool play. Zool's a strong hero. When I saw the Sylvanas Zool, I was a bit worried that there might be in team fights sort of a lack of damage, not like overall lack of damage, but maybe like, you need Li Ming combo to hit, and if you don't, then but I think he did a good job. I'm just trying to be contrarian. I think. I mean, not like this played a great game.
Yeah. And honestly, I mean, TAW had moments of brilliance in that game.
Yeah.
They really did. Like the being able to react right after the team wipe to take the boss was fantastic. They unfortunately just weren't able to ride that momentum to what they needed to win. And it seemed like team fight wise, they never had the positioning they wanted, and youngest Woodies always had the positioning advantage whenever those things started. And that's partially because of the push. There was so much disruption going on and so much stuff going on in the different lanes, especially post 10 when forts were being taken. Like you said, that middle fort is so important because that can really make positioning hard because you have to go around and out to get to places instead of just running through and just taking a ton of damage from the fort.
Yeah. I actually want to ask. I want to throw a hypothetical your way, TBK. So
Do it.
we saw the outcome of the game. We saw. Also, hilariously, I just realized that Thrall and Tronda did exactly the same amount of hero damage. I don't know. You're like, yeah, I was like, who did the most hero damage? Wow, it was both of them. But you look at what happened. You look at TAW's comp, and they last picked Greymane. They were against a strong wave clear comp. And in hindsight, the lack of wave clear kind of hurt them a bit, in my opinion.
It did.
So
And
what other option could you have picked
Zagara.
instead of Greymane?
Zagara.
I think that's probably a fair call. It would lower your burst, but
it would, but the Maw
yeah,
would be the Maul would be very strong. I think.
yeah. You also have Sundering to follow up if you want as soon as Maw ends. You also have Starfall, which is pretty good with Maw. Honestly.
Yeah. So no,
Ooh.
I feel like Zagara may have been a better pick in that situation, just because. But it's tough. It's hard to get behind to that specialist heavy team, because what else do you have to do during the break between the altars than push?
Yeah, that was the other thing too. Like, I think that Greymane could have been good, but they didn't. Like, this comp was never going to out-push the youngest Woudys. Mm-hmm. So it sort of relied on some sort of picks happening early.
Yeah.
And we didn't really see that. They did draw First Blood on Cartwright, but that was it.
Poor Cartwright.
Poor Cartwright. But yeah, they didn't really get the advantage. And the other thing was, like, what do you do? Like, are you gonna leave Johanna in lane solo and forgo that and then rotate with the other four? Like, that seemed like an okay option maybe. But that isn't what they ended up doing, because it was like Rhaegar was up there, and then they were like, okay, Greymane go up there, and it just seemed like they didn't have the lane matchup in the off lane to really take full advantage of the 4-man rotation.
Yep, it's true. And I feel like Josh, that Harry is gonna be sad if we don't mention a few of the really clutch D shields.
Yeah.
That Uther put out, because yes, there were some actually really good D shields. One of them that saved Cartwright, actually, in the middle of a very big team fight, which losing your tank is not a good thing. And so...
yeah. No, they had focused a lot of damage on Cartwright. I know the fight you're talking about, and the Divine Shield saved his life, and that must have been... I mean...
It's a feels bad man moment.
That's a stick in your craw, right? Like,
yeah.
That's not good. And also, he took Protective Shield at 4, and whenever you see an Uther player, because the standard Uther build is like, hey, like, let's take all the actives that exist for Uther, you have to watch for good usage of those actives, and he was very consistently throwing the Protective Shield out on targets that were getting focused. So big props there. When you have all of your normal buttons like QWER, and then you have another, 3 to 4 buttons above that.
Piano Uther.
Piano Uther. It's easy to not, respond appropriately if you're not used to it. But he did a good job.
Yeah, for sure. Well, guys, thanks so much for coming. Congratulations to the youngest Woudys on their win. We will be